Hello, everyone, and welcome to Winning with Love, and we are your hosts. I am Cheryl.
And Casper.
We're the Stockhams, and we are so excited to have with us today the Martins.
Yes.
We're so glad to have Maurice and Ashley here with us,
Yes.
and they're going to tell us their story, and we're all excited about it, guys. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Start from the beginning. You were born.
It was a cold night.
I like to make my story as dramatic as possible.
Okay. Yes.
They said it wasn't meant to happen, but it happened.
Well, guys, we're just excited. So we want to hear more about the Martins. Tell us all about you.
Well, I don't even know how to start the journey. So I guess the first thing I would say is that we are both children of God, right?
Amen.
Followers of Jesus, and that is how we raise our two beautiful children. And it actually started, we actually worked together
We did.
many years ago, and
Yes.
I was her boss. Don't tell anyone.
He was.
Keep that between us. It's private.
Is he a good boss?
He was.
Okay.
He was. And actually, HR put us together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now HR is going to get fired, but she don't work there anymore. So
Yeah,
I think we're
it's
safe.
fine. It's
I think
fine.
we're safe.
Yeah.
But we actually, so I was a trainer at a facility, and she was one of the students. And the funny thing is, I trained hundreds of people in that individual place, and I'll never forget what she was wearing, what she was saying, and just the way she carried herself on the first time I met her.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize at that time, obviously, that she was going to end up being my wife. But the journey from that day has just been incredible. And now we're really just on a journey of trying to help other people find wholeness and health.
Amen.
We've both had our share of trauma and
Yeah.
issues. Now we're just trying to become whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's dig into that. Who wants to tell us about their journey first?
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Just, I guess I was raised in church, had experienced a lot of beautiful things, and thankfully I had a personal relationship with God. It wasn't just my parents made me go to church, which they did. They did, and we make our children go to church too. They did, but they really helped cultivate a personal relationship. So when I encountered different things, I was able to rely on the personal relationship I had built with God.
Amen.
So when I met Maurice, I was not actively trying to follow God. I knew he existed. I knew he was real. I couldn't deny that. But I did not know how I could interact with him after going to college and kind of ending up in like a cult-like situation.
Oh, my.
So after that, I was kind of like, I think I missed God. I missed something. I don't know what's happening here. I know you're real, but I don't know how we interact.
Right.
So in the process of us getting together, we wanted to solidify our faith. We started going to church again. And then from there, he just walked me. I never left his arms, but from the perspective of being where I was mentally, he just lovingly embraced me and walked me back into a relationship with him. And thankfully, Maurice was also having that experience. So it wasn't a conflict between us. And then, there was death. He lost two brothers. I lost my grandmother early on. And that brokenness, we had to really work to find wholeness and to stay together while finding wholeness.
So what was like BA before Ashley?
Ooh. I didn't know you were going to ask that question. We don't have enough time, Casper. We don't have enough time. But during my teenage years, I was a musician.
Okay.
And so when I got to college, I studied music. And after college, I became a professional musician. And so I often tell the story that everything that I accomplished and I achieved sounded good on paper, but I was broken behind the scenes. And so I had the ability, I was an award-winning musician. I worked with Grammy winners and Rock and Roll Hall of Famers and had a chance to open up for Earth, Wind and Fire and so just major artists.
Yeah.
But underneath all of that, I had a whole bunch of I guess I'll just call it unresolved pain.
Okay.
I grew up in a very abusive household.
Yeah.
And it was the type of abuse where we don't talk about it. We don't acknowledge it. There's a lot of gaslighting. There's a lot of, this is what normal people do. This is love.
Right.
And so I remember a moment being, in my late 20s, realizing I don't know what love is. And I don't know that I want to know what love is.
Right.
And so what do you do then when you meet the love of your life? And you're broke and broken and trying to figure out how to make it. So then imagine when within the first couple years of our relationship, 2 brothers die, as she said. And actually the second brother who passed away, it was 2 months before our wedding. And so
4 days after we got engaged.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So our wedding day was probably the most bittersweet day of my life. I cried tears all day long. And that night, I'll never forget it. It was what I call my rock bottom. I'm sitting outside of the hotel. I had to run to the store to grab something on our wedding night. And I thought to myself, I don't know who I am. And if I stay the man that I am, I won't be able to keep her.
Now, this is on your wedding.
This is on my wedding night. And I wish I could say that was a valiant moment, but instead I ended up in a panic attack.
Yeah.
Literally can't breathe, crying out in front of the hotel. By the time I actually got back to our room, she was sound asleep. There were no fireworks on the wedding night. It was more me melting down on our wedding night.
Yeah.
And so
To
that,
yourself, though, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a really long trip to Walgreens. I think I might go to sleep.
I often say that was the beginning of our healing journey. And a lot of times as men, we have to understand when we begin to heal, we make room for our wives to heal.
Yes.
And so my healing journey, I feel like, and that healing journey is a journey in God, a journey in Jesus, and learning him and growing with him. Gave her permission to grow, and for us to heal together. We'd been together for a couple of years, and it wasn't always good, and it wasn't always pleasant, but a lot of learning.
Yeah. Now, you guys were you Christians when you first got married? You both?
I always say she was a Christian and I was a Christian. I was missing.
I think we both were in that position. We got engaged and went to church the next week. Like, we're getting married. We should probably join a church.
Yeah.
And so I think we both were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one good thing that I had for me right before that, though, was that I had, what I call the divine encounter with God. If I'm being honest, I was in such a dark place in terms of depression. I was suicidal. Yeah. And I got in a car one day and I wanted to die. And I was driving down the highway and I started praying, but my prayers were more like cussing, screaming, and yelling. If you're real, answer me and talk to me.
Right.
And in that conversation, I had a vision, and then I heard God's voice for the first time in my life. And so I was open to faith and spirituality and God by the day that we got married. But we had already been together for about 3 years before that. So when we first met, I was definitely not a Christian.
Okay.
And so, this journey that we're on now of ministry and helping people find Christ, we are the evidence of what God can do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. We know a lot of couples that have kind of had a similar journey as that. So we're going to have to put a pin in that for a minute. You are watching Winning with Love, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love. We are here with our very special guests and friends, Maurice and Ashley, and we were just finishing up talking about your journey to Christ and the wedding night. Okay, I gotta ask this though. So the wedding night that didn't happen, did it eventually happen? Because you have 2 kids, so I'm assuming it did.
Eventually, but it wasn't that night.
It was that night.
And so what have you learned? Because it sounds like you both were in the process of healing and getting to know who you were individually. And you mentioned something about how the 2 of you were broken and you began that journey of healing together. So how did that flow? How did that go?
Intentionality.
Okay.
That would be the biggest thing I could say.
Yeah.
We had to, life was busy before kids, so we had to make time, decide that we're going to get together at a certain time, do certain things together, have hard conversations, or what we say, courageous conversations.
Courageous conversations. Okay.
Yeah, have courageous conversations, and that's what we do now. Except for we're not only doing it with ourselves and with each other, we're doing it with our children.
Very good.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody needs to hear that. I think that people almost think like, okay, you work on your marriage and then your marriage is now complete and it's done and it's perfect. That's not real life. We're constant works in process. And so there's still brokenness that we're working through. And it's a continual, we're talking to each other, then we're talking to God, and we're asking of ourselves, how do we continue to grow for me to be the man of God that I need to be, and the man for her that I need to be, and the father that I need to be. Amen. I think that I would have to give all of that credit, if I'm being honest, to Ashley. So the reality is she started pulling up the book of Genesis in our house and saying, we need to rediscover and reconnect with Adam and Eve and God's original intention. What did God have in mind when he created the man and the woman? And how are we meant to interact with one another? And sometimes you find that culture has warped and changed our perceptions and understandings.
So tell me, in that journey, as you're rediscovering yourself, how did you handle the conflict? Maybe there was a rift. Maybe you were on your path to healing and you weren't feeling so, godly that day, because it happens. We don't do it all day long, 24/7. We have our moments.
I think that the journey starts, and I'm sure you have a lot to say on this topic, it starts with the willingness to try. Some of our silent periods where we weren't arguing and weren't fighting were the most unhealthy relationship parts that we had. So we weren't arguing with one another, but maybe we needed to be. Maybe we needed to be getting uncomfortable. And so there needs to be a willingness to be uncomfortable so that you can find a new level of comfort in life. Right? When you grow comfortable in discomfort, that's a problem. And so I think that for us, we needed to say, look, if we got to have these conversations, we got to have them. You're going to have emotions, you're going to have feelings, I'm going to have emotions and have feelings. And that's not a one-way street. Sometimes she had to start those conversations. And sometimes I did. We both have to come to the table.
Yeah, we do our best to not tiptoe around each other's emotions. We have to face them head on. And if that means I need to change, I need to change. And that's just what it is. If we want to reach the end goal, then we're going to have to do the work individually and together. I would also say just mindset. Regardless of what's happening in a moment, I know the promises of God. I know that I am the rib that he took from him. That he formed man and brought me for him. So we're meant to be together. We're meant to do this together. So anything that's trying to convince me otherwise has to go. I can't allow it to stay. And just reminding myself of the word of God and the promises that he gives. And sometimes that means I have to be quiet and pray. Take it to God and let him fix me and show me how to bring it to him.
It sounds a lot like my wife.
That's a blessing.
I wanted to jump in with one more thing too, because as a guy, I know there's probably some men who are watching right now who need to hear this. Men often have a very hard time acknowledging that we have brokenness. We big boys don't cry, and one thing that I've had to learn is that grown men do. And so a lot of our growth has come from the understanding as a man, I have to be okay with acknowledging my emotions, acknowledging my feelings, and I'm not perfect at it. So when you say, how have you done it? We've done it imperfectly. It's Christ who perfects us. We don't start the journey perfect. And I think that when we were trying to do it perfect, when I've tried to be a perfect husband, it's probably when I've been the worst husband. It's been when I'm okay with the perfecting process.
What we try to get couples to understand that you can have a healthy relationship and a healthy marriage, but first, you need to be healthy. And there's so many of us getting into relationships, getting into marriages, and we are not healthy. We're not broken enough to where we want to say, I need to do something different. I need to make a change. I'm not going to have any relationships. I'm not going to even consider marriage until I work on me.
And I think that you just hit on one of the key points. People don't want to be broken enough. One of the reasons that we've been able to help people is because we fully acknowledge our brokenness. I am broken, but for God,
Yes.
but for His mercy and His grace and His love, I'm beautifully broken at this point. And so I think that people are always trying to hold themselves together
Right.
instead of allowing God to hold them together.
That's a great point, and that's a great way to end the show. Thank you guys for being on the show, but we're going to have you back, right? We've got some more stuff going on, and your contestants in the game as well. You have been watching Winning with Love.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We are here with our wonderful guests, Joel and Annalie Vinyard, and they are telling us their story.
So you guys were, we're going to talk about the dating process. Now with Cheryl and I, our dating process was seriously condensed.
Short.
It was short. We were getting old. We had time for all that, right? So we wanted to condense that. But how was your dating process?
Well, my dating process, I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 or 5 years. The wait, actually, because I'm like, no, I'm being my best version. I'm finishing up the dreams that were taken away from me at such a young age, and I want to be my best. So he said, no, it's just going to be a couple of months. Eventually, how this started, going.
Yeah.
But after we met the first time, we ended up having another date. But in between,
I was out of town for 2 weeks.
yes.
I'd gone on a trip for 2 weeks. And so we had that first date. And then that was just, communicating by phone and talking or texting a lot during that time. And it built on, we started out at a very different place, right? With the interrogation, but it ended very nicely. It wasn't, it ended actually in me being very sweetly, me being very interested in her as well. And so it was kind of interesting to be gone for a while and not immediately get back together. I think that might have been okay. We've been good the way it went. And so, it was interesting. And so by the time I got back into town, I couldn't wait to go see her and have the next date.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun. And that from there, it just accelerated.
Now, you mentioned some of your troubled past and stuff, so we want to get into your book because Cheryl has read it from cover to cover. I have skimmed through it, to be honest, but she was riveted by it. She read it like 2 days, right? She was riveted by it. There's a lot of things in your book that we want to kind of unpack, so we have some time to do that. So tell us about your book.
Well, my book that I actually wrote in both languages because I'm a fluent speaker in Spanish as well. It's A Legacy of Love. In Spanish, it's Un Legado de Amor, and also a workbook to help women be their best version.
Right.
My book, my story, it's actually a true story, which I mentioned in my book, baby steps. It was not easy for me to reveal my own story because it also ties into my mom and it ties to what she had to go through and she never got to see the light. But at the same time, knowing that I did, I feel that we both did. And it's a very inspirational story. It's a very eye-opening for everyone that would see this. This happens, and it does not only happen in the Hispanic culture. I believe that it happens in
Every
different
culture, yes.
These things. I lose my mother at 15, a couple of weeks shy to be 15. She passes away out of the country. She was an interpreter and translator for General Motors, which I ended up becoming also that, having a degree in the same area. And yes, and losing her, she was a mother, she was our father. My parents had already gotten a divorce. She had already remarried, and she passes away, giving birth to my baby brother. She never made it. I got to see her how she bled to death. It was too much. Very traumatizing.
And you were 15 at the time?
I was a couple of weeks shy to being 15.
Okay.
I'm the oldest, and I have to take over, her passing away, funeral arrangements, all that. Just a little girl that was about to be 15. In our culture, 15 is a quinceañera. It's like sweet 16.
Yes.
Before that. And I didn't get to have that. All my dreams were shattered. I ended up living with my grandparents on my mom's side. which were extremely controlling, extremely manipulative,
Yes.
extremely abusive. I was not allowed to share what was going on behind doors, which my book also says, finding the courage to finally speak out, because I didn't have a voice. And I realized that I always wanted to have a voice. They didn't allow me to have my voice. They took away my dreams. They ended up marrying me against my will to Mexico, which I love Mexico, but I was not born in Mexico.
Oh.
And my parents were, but it was not the desires of my heart. They overruled my desires. They did the same thing to my mother. And I eventually figured that out because I picked up on a lot of things that I knew that were wrong. I always wanted to go to college, which all that did happen, but it was delayed and taken away. I ended up going through horrendous mother-in-law, very abusive, controlling, that would force me. She wanted me to have a child, which I had a very hard time becoming pregnant. Oh my gosh. I lose my first unborn child at 5 months along, out of the country, without my mother because she had passed away, without my father because my father was not around at the time. It was horrible. I didn't have who to go, but I had already remembered what my mama would tell me: go to Christ. God will help you.
Yes.
Because she taught me that at a very young age. I would not be here if it wasn't because of what she taught me. Going through all that, I end up eventually going through divorce because I knew that that was not a marriage. A friend of mine was the one that said, Annalie, you cannot stay like that in our culture.
Yeah.
That's the way that we were brought up. But you know what? That was not established the way God designed a marriage.
When her grandparents left her there, they drove her down, more or less kidnapped her to Mexico against her will, guarded the bathrooms, made sure she couldn't escape, didn't let her have access to a phone. There wasn't cell phones really at that point for most people. And, they really, drove her down in that fashion, were there to make her get married and then left her there.
Oh, wow.
And,
Yes.
and then at that point she didn't have a voice and hadn't had the ability to have her own will. And so she decided she would try to do what she was supposed to do, which was to be married to this guy that she had known but never cared for that much. There was nothing.
There was no love there.
Yes. Exactly.
But yet, after leave her behind there in Mexico, she tried to make it work the best she could, and then the story continues from there. But
Well, we're going to take another break, but we're going to come around to the other side of this because there's a lot of positive that has come from all those tragedies.
Yeah.
You've shined out of that and come on that in a great way. You have a great marriage now. We're going to be talking about all that on the other side of this break. You're listening to you're watching Win It With Love. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love with your hosts, Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We're so excited about our guests, Joel and Annalie, and the story that Annalie is telling us about her life is just been riveting. I read her book and I cried. So, Annalie, continue on. Tell us some more about the book.
Sure, it's not an easy story. But at the same time, I'm not there anymore, like I shared.
Yeah.
God has been very graceful, amazing. That's why I'm here. So now through my story, I want to impact ladies, especially ladies, also men, letting them know that even though they might not have a mother, whether she's passed or not, that as long as they have the Lord, which we all do, it is well, and we will be able to make it through. Another thing, I was having a hard time as I was writing this because I never want to be seen as, I'm sorry for her. I feel some pity for her. You know what? No, I'm a fighter. And if it wasn't because of that, I would not be here today. Amen. So with that said, I went through so many things. I lost my first unborn child 5 months along. I was never able to see my child. I still really don't know. I still question myself every day.
Yeah.
but knowing that someday I will see him.
Amen.
I had a very hard time overcoming that.
Yes.
It was just too much for me. And there was a moment there that I didn't want to continue living, but I knew that God was the one to go to.
Amen.
And I cried out to him. I said, Lord, I think you've taken everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
You've taken my mother. You've taken my unborn child. Now it's time for me to go home too.
me.
In the marriage that she was put into, there was a real bright light, and that was the father-in-law. And when she had lost the baby and really lost the will to live, he would sit with her every day.
Wow.
That could encourage her.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
It's like God sent somebody.
Yes, he would always send me angels, send me people. And he always was so connected to me because he was also an orphan. He lost his both parents, which I just had lost my mother, but my dad at the time was very absent. And being a female, he always wanted me to be a male,
Yeah.
which after myself, he only ended up having boys. So he was not so happy. In our culture, they're always expecting the firstborn to be a male, not a female. So that was like a complete rejection, which now it's changed completely.
Yes.
But it took several years for that to happen.
One thing about the controlling and abusive grandparents, and the truth in the book is that it had to all be kept secret. So everybody back home, including her own father and other relatives, thought she went down there to get married on purpose. That's what she wanted. They did not know the truth, and she did not tell the truth. And eventually, the friend figured it out.
Yes.
Right, the one that finally convinced you to get divorced because you never really were married. Honestly, not really. And so then, but she hadn't been totally healed at that point, and still didn't have a voice, and still was able to be controlled. And that's really how the second marriage for her happened. That the wrong guy showed up and took advantage of where she was at and who she was not yet, which is who she is now. Right? She had found herself in that way in her own courage, and luckily that didn't last terribly long for her, but it was a tough situation.
Yes.
And it was at breaking out of that second marriage that she went and got healing and therapy and more of God in her life. And really found herself.
Yes.
And then, lucky for me, I found her after that as well. And so,
As a man, how did it affect you to have a woman to be so genuine and sincere
Sure.
and share this with you?
well, it affected me greatly. I'll say that. But we found out I had already asked her to marry me, and so we were engaged. And she decided to tell you really about, or maybe she told me through that story.
Yeah.
And so very emotional, of course, for me as well to hear that. But that's when it happened. And so the appreciation for the strength that she has in her character and her love of God is obviously what I pulled out of that the most.
So when I was sharing this, it was very difficult for me. It was so painful for me because I was going back and I had to, remember all those things and share that. And I'm like, I don't want him to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter. I don't like people to feel sorry. That's not who I am. That's not my character.
Yeah.
I'm very private. So I felt like, I don't want to go there because I've always been very private. But it allowed me to be set free in a way that he was willing to receive it. And you're right. It just could not be just any ordinary man.
Right. Yeah.
Because it had to be a man that loved the Lord. So if he loved the Lord and I was being extremely genuine and open, which I've always been, then he would be able to recognize that and he would be the right one.
Well, we're going to hear more from you guys because you'll be back with us. We're going to be playing the game as well. You guys are participating in that. We're excited to have you, this couple with us. You're watching Winning with Love, and that's their book right there. So we're excited to have you guys, and we'll see you on our next show.
Texic Coin is the future of money in Texas. Texic Coin is a fast, Layer 1 digital currency designed for generations of honest trade. In many ways, Texic Coin is like Bitcoin. It uses blockchain technology, the decentralized public ledger, to record transactions. Texic Coin makes it easy for anyone to participate in the digital economy. Like Bitcoin, Texic Coin can be traded for other cryptocurrencies or cash. But unlike Bitcoin and other leading cryptos, Texic Coin can only be digitally mined in Texas. Join us as we build the world's largest decentralized cryptocurrency mine. Put control of crypto back in the hands of individuals and away from mega corporations, banks, and foreign nations. With Texas Coin, we can leave the world a better place for our children and future generations.
Welcome to Winning with Love.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being at the show. Let us give our contestants a big applause. We have the Vinyards, Joel and Annalie, Ashley and Maurice, the Martins.
All right. Okay, guys, you have the rules to the game. Let's go ahead and get started. Hit that button. All right, landed on clubs. Clubs is 25 points if you get this question right. Now, this is Did You Know? So you guys can collaborate together on this one. Did you know? The question is, according to the Pew Research Center, the #1 reason to get married is, and the answers are companionship, love, financial stability, or commitment. All right. Why are people getting married? The answer is compassion, love, financial stability, or commitment. This is for 25 points. No cheating. All right. Joel and Annalie, what do you have?
Love.
Very good. I'm not going to tell you if that's right.
Okay.
What do you guys have? Love. You both answered correctly. So you both have 25
You got
points.
25 points.
Way to go. All right. Joe and Annalie, hit that button.
Ooh,
We're into the hearts. Hearts is 20 points. So if you get this right, it'd be 20 points. And this one you have to answer. Ladies, you're going to start out to write this answer. What is your spouse's favorite hobby? And you can just write it out. There's no hinting on this one.
So there's no options?
Nope, no options. What is your spouse's favorite hobby? Turn away from each other.
What if he has several?
What is your favorite hobby? All right. You ready? Okay. Mr. Maurice, what is your favorite hobby?
Watching football.
Watching football. And Ashley?
But watching movies.
That's not good enough. Sorry. Sorry. All right, Joel, what is your favorite hobby?
Probably watching movies, actually.
Watching movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they get that?
Annalie, what do you have?
He wants to do.
Oh,
Gaming.
All
So
right.
you have multiple.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, next round, Maurice.
We didn't get it.
And Ashley, hit the button. Hearts again.
Hearts again.
Hearts again. 20 points on this. How well do you know your spouse is the category. What is your spouse's most cherished possession? What
This
is the
time the
most-
men will write.
What is your spouse's favorite? Because turn away from each other. What is your turn away? Ashley. What is your spouse's favorite possession? Most cherished possession. All right, getting close. Okay, it's not War and Peace. All right, just turn back around.
All right.
Okay, so Annalie, what is-
Possession.
yes.
My family, my children.
Okay.
I don't see them as a possession. They're what?
Cherished.
Bella or the
Oh,
yeah.
that's actually
Yes.
Yes.
that sleeps in between us every night and she carries
Okay.
it where she goes. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
All
true.
right.
All right. Ashley, what is your favorite possession?
My wedding ring.
Your wedding ring.
I put a frowny face, but I got it right.
Woo! All right.
Very good, very good. That was 20 points.
I thought you said.
All right.
Well, they're our family.
Joe and Annalie, let's hit that button.
All right. Go ahead, speak.
Hearts again.
All right.
20 points. How well do you know your spouse?
This time the ladies will write.
Okay.
What is your spouse's favorite book? Turn away from each other. What is your spouse's favorite book? What is your spouse's favorite book? All right. We have answers. Okay,
All
it's
right.
turn. All right. So, Joe, what is your favorite book?
Believe it or not, this is true. It's my wife's Legacy of Love.
Okay.
Your wife's book, Legacy of Love.
Oh.
Annalie.
I think he has several books, not only my book, but also the Bible.
Oh, the Bible.
Yes,
Good
yes.
answer.
That's a good answer. All right. Maurice, what's your favorite book?
Well, she would have got this one right. The Bible.
Okay.
Bible.
Bible.
And I got it right too.
Woo!
Very good. Very good. That's 20 points for the Martins. All right. So far, the Martins are pulling ahead. 20 points for the Martins. Okay. Martins, hit the button.
Right.
What is it with these hearts?
Hearts again.
Hearts again. All right. It's worth 20 points.
This time the men will write.
Yes.
How well do you know your spouse is the category. What is your spouse's favorite food? Turn away from each other. Turn away. Turn away. Favorite food. What is your spouse's favorite food?
It's honey.
All right. You ready? Turn back. Favorite food. All right. Ashley, what is your favorite food?
Cauliflower wings.
Cauliflower wings. Well, you know, we had dinner last night. I would have guessed that, but I'm just saying, don't turn over yet. Yes, I'm sorry. You can turn it over.
I thought chocolate.
Chocolate.
Okay, that's fair.
Chocolate.
That's fair.
Yes.
I see how you got there.
That's fair. All right.
Joel?
No. Annalie.
Annalie, I'm sorry.
I like Mexican and Chinese.
Mexican.
That's a good. That's a winner.
All right. That was 20 points.
Okay, this is becoming a competition.
Sorry, good.
Yes.
All right, Joe and Annalie, hit the button. Spades. All right, let's see. Spades are over here. 10 points.
Okay.
And we may have to take this. Actually, we're going to take this into a break. So I'm going to ask the question. This is he said, she said, and then we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with your answers. All right. So the question is, when would your spouse say was the last time you got to play hooky together? And the answers are last week, last month, last year, or never. When is the last time you played hooky together? Last week, last month, last year, or never? We're going to find the answer out when we come back.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin.
Yes.
Question?
And the question before we went to break was, this is the category, he said, she said. And the question is, when would your spouse say was the last time you got to play hooky together? And the answers are last week, last month, last year, or never. So go ahead and turn away from each other. And you have just a few seconds to answer this question. Last week, last month, last year, or never. All right.
All right.
Very good. Let's turn back. All right. So, Mr. Maurice, when's the last time you guys got to play hooky together?
Let's go with last week.
Okay. Ashley?
Never.
Never. Too bad. So sad. All right. Joe, when's the last time you guys got to play hooky together?
Last month.
Last month. Okay.
Oh,
Never.
Oh.
Guys,
we have a different definition
the
of
wives
cookie.
are saying
I don't know what that means. Is it a game or something?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm like, no.
Who is the button? Is the Martins. Hit the button. Spades. All right. 10 points. 10 points for this one. This is he said, she said again.
Catch.
Question is, what would your spouse say is the most important thing about the finances? This time the guys are writing. What would your spouse say is the most important thing about finances? Budgeting, giving, saving, or buying? Budgeting, giving, saving, or buying? Okay, turn away.
All right.
Let's have a few seconds here.
Which one?
Budgeting, giving, saving, or buying? All right, let's turn back. Annalie, which is more important in finances?
I think it's always depends. Saving?
No. Saving?
Saving?
All right, saving.
Depends on what I'm like. What is it? Giving.
Giving.
Yep.
Budgeting.
Budgeting.
Because that's also budgeting.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
All right. Yeah, you won that round. It was only 10 points, but that's all right. You're still in the running. You're still in the running. All right, guys, hit the button. Annalie?
Okay.
Ooh, bronze
Ooh, that's
membership.
good.
Congratulations. You guys have won a I Am Love Builders MVP bronze membership. It's worth $290.
All right.
All right.
We'll write that down. Make sure we got that. All right. Now, you get to spin again because that was a prize.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. I
Ooh.
don't know what that is. That's right on the line. Let's go ahead and spin again because that's too
All right.
close.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, this is a good thing. You won the membership again, but guess what?
Yes.
That's an additional $297 value. So you can give that away later on to someone else as a gift, okay, to another couple, or you can trade it on the stock exchange for notes.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's spin again. Hearts. All right, hearts. 20 points. How well do you know your spouse is a category? What is your spouse's biggest pet peeve? What is your spouse's biggest pet peeve? Ladies,
Ladies?
what is your spouse's biggest pet peeve? Turn away, turn away. Yeah. All right, biggest pet peeve. All right, turn back. Okay, Maurice, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Being late.
Being late.
All right. 20
20
points.
points. Actually, you know what? The points should be doubled.
So it's going to be, okay, this was for 40 points.
Yeah.
All
And the other one
right.
was for 10.
Awesome. For 20.
All right, very good. Joe,
When the dogs are barking.
that's your peeve. Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
I put something else.
What did you
Bees.
put?
Oh, well, that's actually true.
He is allergic to
I went
bees,
to bees,
and
so-
yes, that's a problem that he has.
All right.
All right.
All right, very good. Okay, Martins, hit the button.
One more. Huh.
Hearts. All right, this is worth 20 points.
Actually, this time it's going to be worth
40 points, excuse me. The points are doubled. I apologize. How well do you know your spouse is the category. What was the first gift you gave your spouse? This time the guys are writing. What is the first gift you gave your spouse? Turn away, turn away, turn away. First gift you gave your spouse.
Who to who?
While married or before married?
Good question. Spouse.
Okay.
whatever the first gift was.
For your spouse.
For your
as
spouse.
in probably married. Spouse. Not your fiance, your spouse. Okay, this is a hard one.
Must have been a lot of gift giving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, time is up.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, so Ashley, what was the first gift that Maurice gave you as your spouse?
Flowers?
Okay, flowers is the answer.
Does this question mark look like a flower? Because I don't know. I got
I didn't know either.
Emily?
Flowers.
Flowers! All right, just 40 points. You guys are, this is a very close race now. I mean, it's actually, I think the Vineyards are ahead right now. All right,
Right.
next button is the Vineyards.
Right.
Button. Diamonds. 15 points. No, 30 points, double. 30 points. Love is in the air. All right. When was the last time your spouse would say you showered together? A few days ago, last month, or never? When was the last time your spouse turned away? When was the last time your spouse said you showered together? A few days ago, last month, or never? Okay.
Be ready.
All right. Joe, when was the last time did you say you showered with your wife?
A few days ago.
Very good. A few days ago.
Oh, all right.
That's 30 points.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Marius,
with those choices, never.
never. Never! That's good and bad. But it's worth 30 points.
Hey, we'll take the points.
All right. Very good. So we'll be right back in just a moment.
Welcome back. We're going to continue our game. Let's see who wins this round.
All right. Very good. So you guys, the points have tripled now. Points have tripled.
Okay.
All right. So Vineyards, hit the button. Spades. All right. What do we have for spades here? 10 points. No, I'm sorry. 40 points. 40 points. He said, she said.
Okay.
How often would your spouse say they show affection? And the guys are writing this time. How often would your spouse say they show affection? Every day, a few times a week, last month, or never? Every day, a few times a week, last month, or never? All right. That's an easy one. Okay. Was easy. All right. Ashley.
Every day.
Every day.
Mhm.
All right. A few
A few
times a
times a
week.
week.
Oh, that's too bad. All right. Emily,
Every day.
every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Woo!
All right. That is like 40 points.
40 points.
Very good. All right, Martins, hit the button.
No.
That was close. Close.
Good.
A little hip.
All right, it's 20. This is 100 points. Okay. Well, so with the 100 points, did you know? Now this is one you guys can collaborate together.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Did you know what percentage of couples report that they don't discuss financial matters before getting married? So what percentage of couples report they don't discuss financial matters before getting married? 30%, 60%, or 80%? 30%, 60%, or 80%? They don't discuss it before getting married. All right.
All right.
What's your answer?
60%.
Okay. What's your answer?
60%.
Okay, you're both wrong.
Oh!
So nobody gets any points this round.
So what is it?
What's the right answer?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. The right answer is 30%.
Oh.
30%. Yeah, that's good actually.
Just thought.
Yeah. Okay. Marcus, hit the button. Ooh, man, that doghouse getting close. Gloves.
Okay.
This is worth 100 points. This is also did you know, so you guys can work together on this.
Okay.
According to financial advisors, what is the recommended amount of time to save for emergencies? According to advisors, saving for emergencies, what is the recommended amount of time? 3 to 6 weeks, 3 to 6 months, or 3 to 6 years? 3 to 6 weeks, 3 to 6 months, or 3 to 6 years? Did you know? Okay. Martins, what do you have?
3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Also 3 to 6 months.
You are both correct. 3 to 6 months. All right. Okay. Hit the button, guys. Ooh, getting close to that
Yeah.
doghouse. That would not be a good sign. All right, this is for 100 points again. And this is also did you know, so you guys can work on it together. What percentage of couples argue about money at least occasionally, according to survey? Argue about money. And the answers are 40%, 70%, or 90%. 40%, 70%, or 90% argue about money at least occasionally. All right. What are we thinking? Got it? Got it? All right. Finance.
We think
What do you guys
90%.
have? 90%, okay. And Mark?
It's 40%.
40%. You are both wrong. It's 70%.
I was right. I said 70.
Yes, yes. Always listen to the right. 70%. All right. So, Martins, hit the button. Ooh, come on. Fortunately for you, you're only going to lose 60 points because it doubles. So 60 points away from the Martins.
Oh.
Wah, wah. All right. But you get to spin again. Oh, don't do it again. That's another 60 points.
Okay.
Brutal.
All right.
It's brutal. All right, spin again. Get out of that doghouse.
Yes.
No more.
They got it, dog.
Oh, close. All right, there you go.
Okay.
All right, it's 100 points. You can get some of those points back. Did you know? This is you guys have worked together.
Okay.
Did you know? What percentage of marriages cite financial issues as a significant cause of stress? Financial issues as a significant cause of stress. 35%, 49%, or 62%. 35%, 49%, or 62%. Stressful financial situation. Okay, what do you guys have?
We did the high one at 62, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Well, no, that's what do you guys have?
So I'm a 62.
Okay, you are both wrong.
Oh,
Sorry, 35%.
35.
Yes, 35%. All right, then you just hit the button. Hearts. All right, this is worth 80 points. How well do you know your spouse? And let's see, who's going to be writing this time? I believe the ladies are writing this time. How well do you know your spouse? What is your spouse's favorite movie of all times? What is your spouse's favorite movie of all times? How well do you know your spouse?
Friends?
Yes. Turn away, turn away. Favorite movie of all time? All right, let's turn back. All right, Mr. Marius, what is your favorite movie of all times?
Coming to America.
Oh, Coming to America.
I put the Nutty Professor.
Between the two, you quote them both all the time.
Joe, what's your favorite movie?
yeah, it's obscure probably now, but it's Dr. Zhivago,
Dr. Zhivago.
actually.
Okay.
No, it's Star Wars.
Oh,
I like Star Wars.
You were
Okay.
wrong, but I didn't pick right.
All right.
And this is the last round.
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Hearts.
Hearts.
80 points. How well do you know your spouse? What is your spouse's most embarrassing childhood memory? What is your spouse's most embarrassing childhood memory? Okay. Okay. Emily.
I've always been well behaved. I don't remember of anything wrong that I've done, honestly. Because I would get pinched.
Okay, well, why
Pick
would
something.
you do grades? Think of something. No answer?
No answer.
Okay, no answer.
Falling down in public. I thought it was a good guess.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Being called Ashy Ash?
Being called Ashy Ash. Okay.
Wrong nickname. Oh, I thought it was calling you Sleigh Bells.
Sleigh Bells.
Wrong nickname.
All right. All right. We're going to total up these points right quick. And who is ahead?
The Vinyards.
Thank you. You guys have won a dinner for two.
All right.
Oh, wonderful.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching the game Winning with Love.
Yes,
we
yes.
so appreciate it. And we hope you had fun.
Yeah, I know the couples on the show have a great time.
It was exciting,
Yes.
and we designed it to be so. Because we believe that if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
No doubt about that.
So, play the game either as a couple, with other couples, or for singles to get to know one another.
Yes.
We designed it just for you.
And you can go to IAMLoveBuilders.com/game to get more information about it. But we hope you order the game and play it with your friends and family. It's going to be a great time.